Today I did something that I thought I would never do. The host skip. But not just the host skip. I also put the Pampers in sports mode and did Umbral Mithrix. Because I'm a big kid now. Now, like Professor Xavier, I'm already inside your head and I can hear your screams. What's the host skip? I can't take it anymore. What is Umbral Mithrix? Let's calm down. Why don't you just sit down on Peepaw's lap and let Swag Money 69 explain everything. Now, there's already a video out there that explains in full the whole lore behind it and exactly how to do every variation of the host skip. So you can go check out Cap's video if you want an entire breakdown of the whole situation, including the lore behind it, which I found fascinating. It's a real Game of Thrones style drama. Betrayal, love, incest. It's all there. You just have to look deep enough. But the too long didn't read or didn't watch version of this is that it's essentially a momentum skip that allows you to skip all the way to Mithrix without having to do any pillars. Obviously, for speedrunners and competitive players that are trying to shave off as much time as possible, this is great. Although, trust me, you don't have to be a speedrunner to enjoy this. Pillars suck. So now let me demonstrate and flaunt my adequate skill. So for this variant of the host skip, you need to have a red whip, some energy drinks, some goat hooves, any way of getting move speed, essentially. As my run had been quite good up until this point, with 6 mochas and an equivalent amount of radiant pearls, I had plenty of move speed to do this. What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to line up with this tree trunk here and position yourself between the cliff we're jumping off and the rock in front of this tree trunk. Then you look all the way down, make sure not to hold your W key and not to sprint. And then as this weird branch thing to your right goes into the top right of your screen, you hit the sprint key. And then as you're being teleported up, your momentum's gonna take you way up in the air. Now, hopefully you haven't been following along exactly with this video, because I neglected to tell you that you also need a safer spaces if you're gonna be doing this on Eclipse. That's because fall damage will kill you. Why didn't I mention this at the beginning? Because it's funny if you did actually follow along with this video and then you just died there. That would be really funny. But yeah, make sure to have a safer spaces as well, or else this is not gonna work well. Also, it's pretty risky to do with only 1 safer spaces or having no mobility, so if you mess this up and you end up flying off the map without your safer spaces, you'll die. Something I found out when I was playing Engineer. So have fun with that, non-mobility survivors, aka the ones that are probably going to be using this the most. Anyway, back on topic, you're going to need to do this about 3 to 4 times is what I've usually seen. I think it usually takes me like 5, but I'm pretty sure I just fuck it up most of the time. So this means that when you take that momentum up, you need to go back to the spot that you fell in and repeat the process. It'll take you a little bit to get the hang of it, but I'm sure you'll get it, kiddo. All right, moving on to the next stage. After we smash that new achievement in our life, plus 100 achievement points, achievement got the goat. Now, on to Umbral Mithrix. Umbral Mithrix has been around for a while, and usually I only hear it in reference to Race doing it lots and lots of times. But this is a mod created by Nuxlar, which, sidebar real quick, I'm pretty sure Nuxlar is just an emaciated game dev that Race keeps in a cage to make mods for him, because every time I look at the mod list, I go, wait, it's all Nuxlar? Always has been. Also, sidebar, Nuxlar's the goat who created cooler stages, which everybody's losing their mind over every time I stream it now. If you ever see a Risk of Rain 2 player playing with a really pretty map, it's probably Cooler Stages by Nuxlar. Where was I? This video already has more tangents than your geometry homework. High five, kids. Ah yes, Umbral Mithrix. Umbral Mithrix is essentially just harder Mithrix fight with more engaging mechanics. So sit back and enjoy it while I explain to you the mechanics of the Umbral Mithrix fight that I literally discovered while I was fighting him. Spoiler alert for anyone interested. So at first you might think that this is just normal Mithrix. Almost every single attack is the same, except this time he can now teleport to you in the middle of the fight instead of going to the middle like he normally does. He also has a shadow clone that follows the player around and will copy Mithrix's attacks. And there are little balls in the air that shoot things at you. And you also have little balls on the ground that are normally only reserved for phase 4 when Mithrix takes your items. So already in phase 1, we're adding a lot of mechanics. Now phase 2 is a lot like the normal phase 2, where you're going to start having revolving doors now. I think other people call them pizza slices. But they're revolving doors on steroids, and a lot harder to dodge, trust me you. You also have to deal with Shadow Mithrix again. Now, the third phase is where it starts to get even more interesting. In the third phase, you have Shadow Mithrix, and regular Mithrix is moving around slowly as he normally would during Phase 4 when he would take your items. On top of that, he will also still cast revolving doors every now and then. Then, as an added cherry on top, Mithrix will every now and then go immune to all damage until you kill these random spawn circles on the map. You'll be able to see them pretty easily. They just look like they have the mired urn little connection thing. And they're pretty bright and sparkly too. After killing those, you will be able to finally hit the regular Mithrix again. And also, side note, I'm pretty sure Shadow Mithrix is completely immune to all damage during this phase as well. Now, once you finally take down Phase 3, now begins Phase 4. Phase 4 is kind of a lot like the regular Phase 4 in a way. For starters, he takes all your items. However, instead of actually fighting Mithrix, this is a game of dodging about 10,000 different mechanics, including revolving doors, shooting balls, the Mithrix jump thing. Just about every mechanic that Mithrix has, you're supposed to evade them. Meanwhile, although Mithrix's health is slowly draining, he is completely immune to damage. So this means you have to wait for Mithrix to slowly die while you're playing the hardest Squid Game tournament of your life. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know that he was immune to damage at first, but I did use Eviscerate so I wouldn't have to dodge as many revolving doors anymore. And that's it. That's all there is to Umbral Mithrix. Honestly, easiest game of my life. Probably even easier than regular Mithrix, if I'm being honest. This was light work. And once you finally kill Mithrix, you can pick up the trophy item, which will track how many times you have completed Umbral Mithrix. Everything else from here is the same. You still have to escape from the moon, but that should be no problem for a player of your caliber. Anyway, this was my first time doing it, and I was kind of hype. And I ended up completing Umbral Mithrix with Raydans the next day in co-op. That video will drop soon, just like many of your guys' testicles. Enjoy puberty, kids, and remember to like and subscribe. Oh, and follow me on Twitch so I can get more views. Haha. Swagmoney69 signing out.